Okay, I think I'm live, but I don't know how I sound. So that'll be up to you guys. Let me know. I have a weird thing going on right now, so when I clean everything up, it'll look a little more professional. I don't think I'm gonna go with this camera angle. I don't like it because it's you gotta go over there. You're just looking at a wall, and at the same time, I just I don't really like the lighting. So we'll see. I could just use the webcam, but then it'd be a webcam. Right now I'm using the A7S II, and I just have it running through an AverMedia capture card, and then my soundboard, all the audio is separate. But this is still, yeah, this is one of those live streams where it's gonna be kind of impromptu. I am just here to answer questions, is what we do in the after hours chats for the most part, and yeah, if it sounds a bit bassy, let's see. It might. Yep, you got good headset, whatever you're listening to. Speakers, good speakers, because I am a little bassy. So I just fixed that. Let me know if it is still a little bassy. My highs are a little low, so maybe I can turn it up just a little bit. There we go. Michael Allen says, "Wow, I actually caught the live stream. Hi everyone, what's going on, Michael? Thanks for dropping by." Tom Brazy says, "Bro, we only want to see Lisa. Lisa streams like I would say once or twice a week. So, and I have her Twitch. Like I pitch her Twitch in the description. I have a Twitch, but I don't ever stream to it. So I list hers because she actually devotes herself to it, and she streams, like I said, twice a week or so. So if you want to watch Lisa play games, I know she plays like World of Warcraft and sometimes PUBG and some other things, then you can click that Twitch link, and that will send you to her. These boxes, so I have a ton of crap back here. So I have this. This is like literally a handful of stuff. If you pan, I can actually pan the camera a little bit to the right. See, I've got a bunch of stuff going on. It looks really messy. And the reason why, here was my mentality, my thinking. So, the way I had the desks before, that wall, well, I can't, that wall, yeah, the one you see right there, there's a big window next to it. And that's kind of like dead space on the wall. I wanted to put a green screen in front of it, but then I'm kind of like, well, if I want natural lighting, I gotta work, I gotta work around that. So what I think I'm going to do, I turn one of the desks to where the long sides are against this wall. So now both desks like almost perfectly wrap around this entire room. So this wall, this one, and that one. So I have a ton of empty space in the middle now, and what you saw there, these two little cubby like things. My plan is to put a desk there. So I'm gonna have a desk right in the center of the room, and that'll be like my build space. And then I can have these computer desks, these two L-shaped desks, kind of wrap around the outside, so I can have my computers on these. I can even build and like hook up extra systems right here. I have tons of space here. These boxes won't be here very soon. And then I have some space on that wall. That was where you see the router and some other things plugged in up there. So I think what I'm going to do with that space is put up a small green screen. We used to have a bigger one, and I used it every now and then. I just felt like it was too artificial. I didn't really use it as much as I wanted to because of that. So what I think I'm going to do is turn that into like a thumbnail kind of place, so I can put like a small little portable, I don't know, I don't want to say table, but something like a nightstand size maybe in front of it. That way I can take pictures of graphics cards and other things I want to show off, and it's much easier to create thumbnails with that green screen in the background. So that's my thinking. And then of course the center space that you saw, this is going to be a desk. I think it's going to be around 50, 60 inches long. And that way I can film from there. You'll see in the background the PCs, and then I'll have some like decent, foreground and background for when I shoot B-roll. So that's my thinking. Let me know what you guys think about that. Bazinga, $50 super chat. Bazinga is the man. Says, what brand color fluid do you use in your loop, and any issues with clogging? So I have a couple videos about my own issues with certain fluids. I have not had an issue with clear fluids to date that I can think of. I used Thermaltake C1000 for a long time. The clear C1000 is fine. The opaque C1000 coolants are not. I invite you to check that out. Just type in like clogged loop Science Studio on YouTube. I'm sure it'll come up. I detail that whole process for you, Bazinga, so you can see what happened. You can see how nasty it all gunked up. And it was only, I think, about a month or so running in there. That was the original I believe. So that was pretty nasty. It was like staining the tubes and stuff. Just didn't look great. Thermaltake was super cool. They're like, hey, we'll send you replacement parts for everything. You know, we'll get you squared away with a better coolant, whatever. Like they didn't even ask if I was mixing metals and whatnot. So C1000 is Thermaltake stuff is really tricky to work around because Thermaltake uses almost totally aluminum radiators. I don't know if their CPU blocks are aluminum. I think they're nickel plated copper. The thing is, though, nickel and copper will corrode over time, but not as fast as aluminum will. But when you put aluminum in a loop with copper or nickel plated copper, that's when you have issues. So you need special fluid, special coolant to mitigate that galvanic corrosion. I'll talk about this in a separate video as well. But in a nutshell, if you aren't using a proper coolant, a coolant that's supposed to inhibit that to an extent, you're not going to completely prevent it, but slow it down dramatically, then you will have that basically just atoms from the aluminum, I think it's the aluminum side, sticking to the copper. So you get a bunch of aluminum particles just floating through your loop and sticking to stuff and getting stuck in those little fins, right, that are inside the CPU blocks and the GPU blocks. That's a nasty experience. So you don't want to do that. But that's a lot of it ties back into aluminum or not aluminum AIOs as well. So if you're running an AIO, that's almost always going to be a mixed metal loop. Most people either overlook this or don't even know that their aluminum rads are aluminum rads in AIOs. But most of them are, unless it says copper. And basically what they use is a special fluid. I don't know exactly what the composition of the fluid is. It's typically water-based, but there are some inhibitors in there, and that will slow down the galvanic corrosion to a great extent. So AIOs are special. You can't just... Let's see if we're good again. Okay, I'm just going to keep streaming. I don't know if this is... I probably moved something. Let's refresh. Successfully connected. Okay, there we go. Yeah, should be good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I'm moving the router, or not the router, the modem, and I kind of have it hanging from a wall, so if it's cutting in and out, it's probably that. I've never had this issue this year. I don't think I've had an issue like that. So it's probably just me moving everything around. Cody says I'm good, so I am good. Thank you for that. Mr. Cody, one of our excellent moderators and one of the members on the channel. 4 stars are looking good next to your name. Someone said thought it was mine. No, it's definitely mine. I looked at the bottom right and I could see it was treating it like I was completely disconnected from the internet, which I don't know what that was about. Anyway, long story short, AIOs use a special fluid to keep that galvanic corrosion from happening at a much faster rate, at a rate that would normally occur. So there you go. Let's see. I saw something up here from Bashur Hedden DKK. No idea what kind of currency that is, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I will try to find a question of yours. Yeah, Bashur Hedden says Ripstream. Let's see. I'm like, okay, here you go. At Science Studio. Hello, Greg. Quick question. Can't seem to get my 2600 over 3.9 unless I push 1.4 or higher. Is this safe? Using Deep Captain Pro under 75C, Prime 95, 30 minutes. Okay, so 2600s should hit over 4. I mean, mine hit over 4, and mine are just retail samples. So I'm not sure. Well, I take that back. One of them is not a retail sample. But you should be able to hit over 4, unless you just have a terribly bent chip, and that's just luck of the draw. If you can't get it past that, check your load line calibrations, kind of tweak with those in the BIOS. There could be a few other things happening, XMP as well. If you have voltage set to fully manual and it's giving you, higher attempts, try an offset maybe. You just kind of have to fool around with it. Every chip's going to be different. Every motherboard to an extent is going to be different as well. The settings are all a little different. So just let me know. I'm checking the stream now to make sure I'm not cutting in and out. That kind of sucked. Let's see. Call of Duty Man. I'm looking for a PC case around 150 to 200 bucks. That looks great and good airflow. Any suggestions? I just reviewed the Fantex P600S. Great airflow in that case, so you should check it out. I think it's in your price range as well. Let's see, Nicholas Leon, no question. Just want to say hi and say I'm glad I hit my first live stream with you. What's going on, Nicholas Leon? Hope you are doing well, whatever time of the day it is for you. It's what 9 p.m. here. I know it's kind of a weird time to stream. I just feel like every other tech tuber has like a day claimed, except for maybe Wednesday. So, and then Wednesdays are kind of weird, it's like right in the middle of the week. So, I figured Sunday, why not? You know, I know a lot of the Europeans and even in Asia, Middle East, they it's already Monday for them. They're working. But these streams are archived, so if you do want to go back and watch this later, if you want to go to sleep now, or if you miss one in the future, you can always go back and watch these. So there is that. Let's see here. Uncle Guspacho, what's the best place to plug your headset into? Back of motherboard, front panel audio, monitor audio, pass through, or well, you want as little interference as possible, right? A headset, unless you're an audiophile, you're really not going to notice much of a difference. I would say you're going to have better drivers probably at the rear. You got those codecs that are going to keep the distortion rather low. Unless you're really like cranking up the volume, it's not really going to matter. I'll tell you, when I game, most of the time it's just with the front connectors, unless it's one that's like USB. And if it's a USB one, you're probably going to have a little more distortion. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off of what I know about USB. And if you plug it into a USB 2.0 header, I can imagine you probably have a worse time. I don't know. If someone say something about that. I'm sure some of you are using USB headsets. Let me know if you notice a difference. I know that the Kraken headset that Lisa uses is a USB headset, and I'm just not sure if there's much of a difference at all versus plugging it into the headset and the mic jacks, either on the front panel or at the rear. I would say the rear is the best if you're just going with onboard audio, but if you have a dedicated sound card, obviously that's going to be a better bet because it's isolated from the rest of the system to an extent, so you're not going to get that weird feedback, especially if you have like, your graphics card is like right next to that. So let's see. Ace Small, what am I looking at here? Ace Moniodes. I don't know what I'm looking at. I hope I said your name right. I apologize if I didn't. Is it bad to build a new gaming system with Ryzen 3 series on the way? This is a totally you're just gonna have to answer this question for yourself. If you can wait. Obviously, I think waiting's a better idea. I think we're gonna get a lot of good stuff out of Ryzen 3. But if you need the system now, I mean, there's nothing you can do. You gotta build now. So that's a question only you can answer. I get asked that a lot, but I can't answer that for you. I mean, if you can wait. If you can't, buy now. You have no choice, right? Coalition Gaming, $5 super chat. I appreciate that, Coalition. Good to see you again. I see you on Twitter all the time. We chatting it up. Sup, Greg? Looking forward to Computex. Do you consider it a special event? And Lisa now, keep up the awesome work. So Computex is really cool. Yeah, it's definitely special for Lisa and I because it's, of course, where we met 2 years ago. And so we always look forward to going back. She loves that city. She wanted to live there. I think she wanted to move there before she met me, and then I kind of changed her mind a little bit. But I know she really loves that place, and yeah, I mean, we have good memories there. That's where we met for sure. And then on top of that, like the work there, I mean, it's exhausting. Like people think, oh, you're just walking around filming stuff, whatever. It's a lot more than that. First off, if you're just by yourself, you're doing all the work, and that really sucks. Last year it was just Lisa and I. Will had plans to go. Something came up with him, so he couldn't last minute. But even with just Lisa and I, it was grueling. We had, I don't know how many videos we pushed out at Computex last year. We were filming in 4K because we just wanted to be one of those channels that filmed in 4K. So you have that more crispy video. And so that took a toll on our Ultrabooks. Even though we had discrete graphics, it's still not easy. And I bought a new camera like right in the middle of the event. I bought the A7S II, what I'm using right now to live stream with. And that was something I was really excited about at first. I just acted like I knew what I was doing with the camera and just wung it. And poor Lisa just kind of had to go along with it and learn as she went. And I made things stressful for her at times, definitely. I was just trying to get through as many things as we could, make sure we hit all the meetings that we had planned, and try to go to anything else if we could on the show floor. And so we were really busy. We were up late at night, editing. It's not fun in that sense, but it's a beautiful city, and it's like the people there. Taiwan is like just filled with really nice people. And I don't say that lightly. Like I've been places where people are not friendly to you, especially when they figure out that you're American. But Taiwan is very, it's just I don't know, a very gracious country. I don't know how else to word it. People there are very humble. It's a very fast-paced city. In Taipei, it is, but it's beautiful. So that's what I look forward to the most, and getting to do that with Lisa. It's just like reminiscing, reliving the good old days, and we're still in the good days. I mean, it's only been 2 years now, and we've been married just over a year, so it's good memories. Every time I think about Taiwan, first thing I think about is her, because I mean, she was one of the first people that I met there outside of Will and Jacob who went with me. Johnny Winter, DKK. I don't know what DKK is. 2020 DKK. Whatever. Oh, Denmark. Okay, it's Denmark. Denmark. Is that like a? You guys have your own currency? I didn't know that. Hi from Denmark. 3:15 at night. Wow. Yeah, that's like 3:15 a.m. That's. I know that because Lisa lives right in Germany, where she's still technically lives there. She can't live here yet. But yeah, this time of day here in the States is like 3 a.m. for her, so she's definitely asleep. Wow, good on you for being awake this early. I hope you don't have work or school the next morning. If you do, the stream will be here tomorrow. I appreciate you stopping by. And thanks for the 20, I don't know whatever 20 something is, but thank you. Mang says, hey, Science Studio, what kind of engineering degree did you study in school? So I get asked this like every live stream too. So I have a petroleum engineering degree, which is like a mixture of mechanical, chemical engineering. It's a specialty, really just offshore and onshore oil rigs, if you want to like encapsulate it in a picture. We have to go through obviously like a lot of theory and a lot of geology, fluid dynamics, thermodynamics. Like it's I would say it's very close to a mechanical engineering degree without going heavily into like the mechanics of materials. Like we took statics and mechanics, but we didn't get into like the kind of stuff that civil engineers do, where they're like, mapping out like the weakest points of objects and like, working with all that, especially in the computers and stuff. We were doing that with casings, like downhole. Obviously, when you're drilling and you have all that pressure and that heat, you have to make sure that your casing's sealed and that the cement you're using can withstand the pressure. So there's similar things. You see where I'm going with this, but it's not exactly the same, and that's why it's a specialty major in that sense. But most people either don't know what it is or just think that we just stick a pipe in the ground and just pull out oil. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's an engineering degree. And then I also have a master's in business administration, or an MBA. It is just a business degree. It's, I have a concentration in finance, which means I kind of sort of know what I'm doing with money. But it's just a supplemental degree. I got it because I wanted insurance in a sense. Like if YouTube doesn't work out for me, I think I'll be okay. And that's really all I wanted. Like I went in, I mean, I went to college because I wanted to have some sort of insurance coming out, right? If you get an engineering degree, more than likely you're going to have a job at some point, like, and it'll be a decent paying job, hopefully with good benefits. I mean, that's why most people go to school, right? Because they want decent paying jobs. Not that you can't, that's not to say you can't get a decent paying job outside of college, but it helps. And, in this kind of society, you got to have a piece of paper that says you know what you're talking about in order to get a particular job. So that and experience, it just depends on the hiring manager. But yeah, that's what I have. It was a really long way to answer that question. There you go. Let's see. Ali says, do you answer email questions? No, I don't. Email is for business. If you send me an email on my business account and it's not a business email, I block the email. So if you do have in the future a business inquiry, I won't get it because you'll be blocked. So please don't do that. You can tweet at me. You can message me on Facebook. You can chat at me here. You can do any of that. I try to open myself as much as possible. We have a public Discord. You just at Science Studio there and whatever, message me directly, and I'll be sure to respond as well. So yeah, plenty of ways to do that, but not email. Email I would get bombarded if we opened up emails. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, your thoughts on Canon cameras nowadays? Look, I'll be honest. I've used one Canon camera in my lifetime. I don't even remember what kind of camera. I think it was like one of those Rebels. Not a professional video camera. I would say it's just a beginner DSLR. So I can't really say much about them. The ones I would be interested in, like the 6D, looks really nice. Even like is it the 5D Mark IV? I like the new EOS Rs. I just think that they're pricey. What I really like most about Canon, I keep saying camera. I don't know why I'm saying that. About Canon is the dual pixel autofocus. Obviously, I feel like that's one of the things that people buy Canon for, is because their autofocus is vastly superior to anything else on the market. And unfortunately, it's patented, so there's no way that anyone else is going to get that technology anytime soon. But dual pixel autofocus is beautiful. My Sony A7S II, I have to lock the focus. If I left this focus on auto and had it like, it can't even track eyes. I'm pretty sure the 7 III can, the 7 III, but the 7 S2 can't, and so it just goes in and out all the time, like searching for the subject. I'm like, I'm right here, I'm sitting right in front of you, and it just doesn't show up. So I'm kind of, I'm forced to keep it in manual, which is fine. I mean, I would prefer manual anyway, but when I'm sitting really far from the camera and I'm the only person working in the room, I don't want to have to go and call Lisa, like, hey, Lisa, can you come focus the camera for me? They have to do that every time I film. It's just kind of a racket. All right, let's see. Scrolling down here, scrolling down. What's going on, G-Rod? G-Rod says, hello, Greg. What's up, chat? G-Rod is a pretty boss PUBG player. We ball up all the time in Discord. He is the man. He's got 4 stars next to his name, so you know what that means. He's been a not lifelong, you know what I mean, member of the channel. I do appreciate that. Let's see. Will says, don't forget about the milks you have to buy. Yeah, not looking forward to buying those milks. It's an inside joke. We might explain it in a video in the future. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Oh, Jacob says, yeah, I remember that chocolate milk for $1. Oh gosh, yeah, we'll have to make a video. Jacob and I'll just sit in front of the camera and we'll just talk about that day, because that was fun. Let's see, we have a super chat here from Adrian's Replays, $5 Canadian. Hi Greg, what's the best bang for the buck graphics card on the market? Asking for my cousin whose GTX 750 just quit. Ouch. So best bang for the buck right now, the 1660 Ti's are looking really nice. If you want to go a little cheaper than that, RX 580s, 570s are going for under $200, I think, in most cases. If you're sending your money in Canadian, though, so you're probably from Canada, which means that your price is going to be different. But in the States, I can only speak for the States because I'm only familiar with this market. The 1660 Ti, even the 2060 if you want to step it up just a little bit. But if you want to stay under $200, the 570 from AMD is really good. The 580 as well. You can go with a 4 or 8 gig. You're going to be fine usually in 1080p, which is the resolution I recommend you stay at with that card. You could go to 1440p, but you have to drop some settings, and at that point, you're just increasing resolution to see worse in-game settings, so I don't really understand that. But yeah, so that would be my recommendation. I think the 570, 580 are still really good buys. If you can find some used cards, there's like plenty of used to 1070s, 980 Ti's for around $200. So if you want to buy used, I think that's the better route. But if you want peace of mind, you want the warranty of the box, all that good stuff, I don't blame you. I'd say 570, 580, under $200 would be a pretty good snag. Let's see, Irfan Ahmed, I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. You did a video quite a while back about how many cores most games use. Back then you said that a quad core was more than enough. Has that situation changed now? Yeah, look, so the games that I tested for the most part, in what I said in that video, 4 cores was definitely enough at the time for the games that I tested. I was using, I think it was a 6600K and then a 6700K. And that just showed you that hyper-threading really didn't make that much of a difference. What I really wish I had done, I'm not sure if I did this in this video, was throw in like a 6800K or a 6900K and then see how the core scale, how the frame rate scales with core count. Typically though, higher core count chips are really not going to give you an extra frame bump. There's a lot of latency involved with those HDT chips, so it's kind of, you kind of have to just, at the time I had to just settle with, 6700K is obviously great, but you could get by in most games with an i5, and I think that was the conclusion I made. Today though, I would say, the story's changed a bit. I think now that 6 cores and up is kind of mainstream thanks to AMD and now Intel following suit because they kind of have to. I would say 6 cores is probably the sweet spot. I mean, if you went from a 2600X to a 2700X. Like, how big of a delta are you going to see there in frame rate? Not much, if any at all, in most games. I know this because I've tested it, as have many other people. Some games there might be an exception in some games, like I know Battlefield tends to be core hungry, and that's cool, right? There's always an exception. It's easy to point out the exception. But in general, I would say right now the sweet spot's 6 cores. And that's good because you can get 6-core CPUs from AMD, like the 1600, for like $140, less than that, sometimes even around $100. That's dirt cheap for a relatively modern 6-core 12-thread chip. So yeah, that's why I think that story has changed. I'll probably go back and remake that video. Good question though. That's yeah, definitely something I need to update. I think the story has changed because largely AMD has just changed the narrative, right? I mean, making 4 and 6 core chips kind of mainstream, and then 8 core chips are kind of like the upper echelon now, and that's why AMD had to follow, or excuse me, that's why Intel had to follow suit. Right now in this system, I think I'm using the i5. I'm using the NVIDIA encoder with OBS, just straight up raw OBS. I'm sorry I don't have the chat on the stream. Usually we do. So if you're wondering why it doesn't look very exciting on screen, it's just because I literally opened up OBS for the first time and just connected everything in and synced it all up. But I'll put the chat in next time, and we'll see how it goes. But right now I'm using the 8600K in this system with a 2060, and then the system behind me, that's my editing rig. That's a 9900K and a RTX 2070. Like, what's funny is, like, people think, you know, like, we get a bunch of stuff that just gets sent in, right? So like the I'm trying to remember here, the i9 7980XE, the 7900. Like, I have both of those chips. Those are 10 core 7900X, and then the 18 core 7980XE, right? I don't use either of those chips in my daily systems. Like, I could, and I would probably with the 18 core chip see a benefit when it came to like rendering, scrubbing on the timeline, possibly. It really depends, because now that QuickSync is a thing, you can have that software encoding on board, right? So the problem with that, with the higher core count chips, is they don't have IGPs, so you lose out on that factor. But I just don't use them because I don't know. It's great and all, but I know that the 9900K is a better gamer, and I know that these are better buys straight up. So it really wouldn't make sense for me to sport the best of the best if it really wasn't the best value, especially when value is the thing that I'm always preaching to you guys about. What's the best you can buy for your dollar, right? Don't buy the best because it's the most expensive. Buy something that is actually a better value that will still give you what you expect when it comes to editing and gaming and whatever. So yeah, I mean, that's why most of the tech channels out there exist, right? We're trying to inform you as the buyer as to what is the best buy for the dollar. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna scroll up just a little bit. I saw something from Bazinga. Not Kevin says, what's the door in the thumbnail to? I think that was to a, I want to say an MRI. I think that's why it has the, don't come in here with a pacemaker or anything that's like, you know, that's metal. So it's not pulled in by a magnet, right? Because MRI is magnetic resonance imaging. And it was big old magnets that'll boom, 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 boom. And that will pull anything metal in your pockets, anywhere in your body, straight out into the machine. And so they have the signs out front at the doors in the hospitals so that you can't well, not can't, it's not foolproof, but so that you don't walk in with something that's on your person and then have it ripped out of your body, or, you know, pull you into it because you have something metal. Anyway, let's see here. Scrolling down, Bazinga, $5 super chat again. He says, you know, Lisa can stream 5 days a week instead of 2 if you would help her clean. Bazinga, you're supposed to be on my side. I don't know why you're bringing that up to her again. Okay, WOTB Fox, where to check the IPC of Intel versus AMD? Oh, excuse me. So yeah, a lot of the reason why Intel is the better gaming CPU is because you can clock that thing a lot higher. Most Ryzen 2, well, not Ryzen 2, excuse me, most Zen Plus chips, so that's the 2000 series Zen chips, will hit 4.2, maybe 4.3 if you're lucky, but you probably won't hit 5, right? And you can hit 5 most of the time with a 77, 87, 90, 900K, any of those chips. Even if you don't delid, typically you can get close to 5. So, and if you do delid, you can usually get over 5. I have like really red marks from these glasses on my nose. I just noticed that. Anyway, I noticed how dirty these were. I should have cleaned them prior to starting the stream. Let's see. Okay. Scrolling down here. Let's see. Do we have any juicy questions in here? Okay, I see that. Pinku Pensu, did I say that right? I think I did. Will you do more videos like the comparative deep dive Zen versus Bulldozer architectures in the near future? I do want more. Yeah, I mean, I want to. Like, that's like, I mean, that was the core of the channel, right? When we first started, a lot of people subscribed for that stuff. But look at that video. It only got like 25,000 views. So I know I could push out content that could get way more than 25,000 views. Most case reviews will be between 20 and 40K. Most of the really deep dive videos only get around 20 to 40K, and the reason for that, I think, is because it's so technical that people just don't care. And especially now, I mean, a lot of other channels are kind of doing similar things. So it's hard to really differentiate our channel from theirs if we're not really, if we're just explaining things that any other channel could technically explain. That video had a lot of research involved in it, so I mean, I wouldn't put it past a channel to kind of skip on that topic because it's really in depth. But I would do more of those types of videos if people responded better to them. So the people that watch them really like them, but not as many people watch that video compared to like our $500 budget build videos. Like those always get 100,000 views or more, and this is like my full-time job. Okay, do you do this that more people want to watch, or do you do this that less people watch that is kind of like a homage to the original essence of the channel? I'm going to do the thing that port on the, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I have a switch behind me, and the switch it's like an 8-port switch, but one of the ports is bad, I'm pretty sure. And if I recall from like a year ago, that port gave me issues. So yeah, rip. I see everybody saying rip again. Yeah, I think it's the switch now that I'm thinking about it. It's just that one port, so I have to move that cable into the next port. Probably not gonna matter at this point. It's just gonna randomly do it. Not your fault. If your stream cut out, it probably did cut out. It's my fault. It's a bad switch port. I gotta fix that. Yeah, definitely me. But anyway, yeah, I try to do videos, obviously, that a lot of people will watch. That video didn't get as many views as I would have liked, or I would have done more of them. So if we get more people watching those kinds of videos, giving me good feedback on them, saying we want more, then sure, I'll do more. But I get way more positive feedback from the budget builds, or from like the old school hardware reviews, stuff like that. People like watching that stuff, the vintage hardware. So it's yeah, it's just kind of what we have to work with. I'm going to be upfront with you because I think transparency obviously is a good thing. Yeah, if your stream's frozen, just refresh. It's my fault. The stream cut out because of me. My internet connection just straight up dropped. So anyway, Daniel Diaz, as a person that has graduated with an engineering degree, what do you think about the really low job growth? I've been considering switching to computer science because I heard of higher job demand. So I can't really speak to that. I mean, my engineering degree is specialized. Like it's not like a generic. I feel like that's a disservice to mechanical engineers. But what I'm trying to say is like a mechanical engineer can do a lot of things, right? He or she can go work on cars, work on robots. They can work on rockets. They can do a lot of stuff with that. Petroleum engineers work almost explicitly on rigs, and a lot of hiring managers won't even touch petroleum engineering majors because they know that, well, outside of the oil field, I should say, because they know that we have we're specialized. So a lot of our math, a lot of the stuff we did in class had to do with drilling and production, all that stuff. So it's difficult for me to kind of gauge that market. I have plenty of friends that are engineers that are still in engineering school that have plenty of jobs lined up. I don't know about the slow job growth. I mean, unemployment rate's pretty low, but that doesn't really speak much to the workforce participation rate, other things to consider there. So I don't really know. I mean, if you asked me that like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, obviously around 2008, that would have been That would have been a pretty rough time for most engineers. A lot of people got laid off, but honestly, for a petroleum engineer, that would have been a really good time, or you know, right after that would have been a really good time to get hired because that was when gas prices were really high. So when the economy is doing really well and gas prices are low, it's tougher on my sector, in the petroleum sector. But when the economy's in a rough patch and gas prices are really high and we're not drilling as much, we're not producing as much, and we're importing a lot of oil, then there's an incentive for more of us to work, especially in this country, as long as it's you know deemed acceptable in whatever state we're doing it in. So yeah, it's kind of goes back and forth there. But let's see. That's Blade Scraper says the Reddit link in the description is broken. Let's see if that's weird. Oh yeah, I screwed it up. Did I type it in wrong? Oh yeah, I did. I typed in Science Studi. If you look at the URL, it's supposed to be IO. Wow, I totally butchered that. So if you want to go to the Reddit page, type in an O up top in your. Don't worry, it's swapped. Yeah, and I know it was that Ethernet port or that on that switch because right when I swapped it, it connected. So yeah, that was my fault. I won't be. Hopefully, I don't have that issue anymore. Refresh again. I'm sorry. You guys are super patient. I appreciate it. Yeah, just spam F. Can we just get like one big spam of F from everybody with a keyboard in front of them? Just give me one tap of that F key and then hit the enter button and pay respects. I appreciate that. And anyway, I kind of forgot what I was saying. But I saw somebody ask a question about LTX. I will be at LTX. I was really late to reply to Colton. I talked about this, I think, the last live stream, but I met with Luke and Linus, and they had invited us kind of after the meeting. They were talking about float plane and getting that ready to go. So I should have responded right away to Colton when he asked to send for me to send my travel info and stuff, where I'd like to stay, flights and all that, and I didn't. So hopefully they forgive me. If not, I'll still probably go. Like I'm officially invited, so I'll just book my own ticket, worst case, and my own hotel. I think it's worth it. It's a good networking opportunity, and I get to meet a lot of really cool people who I watch online. So that will be fun. I appreciate all of the Fs. I see all the Fs. You guys are awesome, and I'm watching that. I'm watching that connection icon down there, making sure I don't pop in and out. Let's see. McBlazer, what do you think about the Crosshair 8 Formula leak? I don't know. I haven't seen the leak. I don't really look at leaks. That's kind of that's not really right. I do look at leaks, but I don't like to report much on them because they're leaks and sometimes they're not accurate. But I mean, we obviously know that the next gen boards are coming out at some point soon. Cody says, "Ooh, are you gonna do float plane?" And the answer to that is yes, sir. I mean, that was kind of the point of the meeting. Like Luke had asked me, and Linus went with him, and then I took Lisa with me. So as the four of us, had late dinner. It was really cool. I was trying not to fanboy at all, so I think I kept my cool without seeming like a douchebag. I don't know how I still word that. But they're really cool people. I talked about this again in the last stream, but Luke was super down there, super chill, and Linus was really like professional. But you could tell like he's a dad. Like he's still a down to earth dude. You just got to get past the rough business persona. So it was nice to meet them and talk to them about float plane specifically. I really wish Will had been there. I told him this because Luke was talking about a bunch of stuff, a bunch of networking stuff, talking about servers and this and that. And I'm not the greatest networking guy out there. I could brush up on my terms, definitely. So I kind of felt bad. Like I just straight up had to tell Luke one time, like, yeah, I really wish I knew more about this. I really wish my friend Will was here because you guys could go on for hours about this stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, they ended up asking if when they get it ready to go, we'll be on board with it. They tried to reassure us. They're like, look, it's supposed to be supplemental. It's just another way to get your content out there and provide a bit of exclusivity. You could upload like unique videos just to float plane. You could also do like the week early or the 2 week early thing for float plane members. So it was a really cool, productive talk, and I got really excited about it. And right away, I mean, when they gave me the green light, I am going to I'm gonna start. I'll make a video talking about it, and then hopefully some of y'all jump on board. At least a couple people. I mean, look, even if I only had like 10 people, uh, join the float plane channel, that's enough for me. Like that would be really cool, and that's better for you guys, for you 10, because it's more exclusive, right? So behind the scenes tours, like I might even do stuff just on the phone. I might just film a quick clip with my phone and upload it to float plane. There you go. You got an extra little behind the scenes clip there. I might do I know I'm going to do the week early thing, maybe even 2 weeks. Or it depends on how ahead of schedule I get. Really hard to do that when you're a one-man show. But, yeah. Anyway. Let's see. A Tech News says, I'm talking to you. Don't ignore me, please. Well, rip, you wasted that chat message with with a statement about not ignoring you. I didn't ignore you because I just read that chat, but you kind of wasted it on that. So I'm sorry. I'll look for you again, but you gotta be prompt. Let's see here. We got a guy saying, what is the best PC build for $1,200? I mean, just price it out. The best you can get for the price. Going to be probably Ryzen 5. You might be able to get a Core i7 out of it. And then if you can buy a used graphics card, you can get a really nice used 1080 Ti, 1080, nice case, really beefy AIO or something. I mean, this is just, you guys got to just get on PC Part Picker and just start swapping parts, Obviously, the best parts for the price. That's what you're going to get if you want the best system. Best value system is going to be a little different. I think Ryzen 5 is by far the best value. And then on top of that, graphics card-wise, it just makes no sense to buy new. If you're that concerned about budget, buy used. Go onto eBay, whatever used site you have that has a decent, buyer protection guarantee. Buy a used graphics card. 1070s are really cheap right now, $200 to $300. 1080s, kind of the same ballpark price. Obviously a little more. They were, when I was making the videos about the used cards, those cards were going for I got a couple 1070s for like $200, $220. And then I got 980 Ti's, which are basically the same. They're going to be a little weaker now that drivers have kind of matured for the 1070, but they're going to consume a bit more power too, so keep that in mind. And I was getting those for $200 on eBay. So, yep. Tigran asks what car I drive. I guess he's asking that. I drive an Infiniti Q60 Red Sport. I'll go ahead and reply. I'll just type that in so you can Google it, because I don't expect you to remember that. Infiniti Q60 Red Sport. There we go. And mine is the rear-wheel drive version. Coming from my Audi S5, which was all wheels of 4.2 V8, that car was just planted. Like, it felt really good. I was really confident driving that thing. I had Michelin Pilot all-season 3s on them. It was beautiful. And then I remember when I bought the Q60, I traded in the S5. I bought the Q60, and the tires on it were just garbage. I think they're run flats. By default, they use like Dunlop run flats or something like that, and I hated them. I just couldn't get any traction, especially in the winter. I mean, the winter rear-wheel drive car that fast is just, you're not going to get any grip at all. So I immediately went online. I bought some 20-inch niche Targa rims, and I stuck some Pilot Super Sports on them. 285 in the rear, 255 fronts. And I get a lot more grip now, needless to say. But I'm waiting for it to warm up. That's when it's going to be just prime. Like when it is 90 Fahrenheit outside, it's going to those tires are going to stick, right? And those resins in the wheels are just going to, or the resins in the tires, like there's a certain activation temperature, and once all that's working, just way better. Let's see, Bob Flanders, what's going on, Bob? Good to see you again. $7.77. That's a good number, my friend. Yo, Greg, how's life treating you? Hope you and the bride are well. We are, Bob. I appreciate that. Hope things are going well for you on your end as well. I am just chilling right now, looking a little messy behind me. And I said this earlier, it's kind of bare on screen. That's because I just kind of had to impromptu throw up OBS and kind of sync everything last minute. I was hoping to have Streamlabs ready to go, but I also wanted to test out the new NVIDIA encoder with OBS now that we have the 2016 here, just to see. how it fares. I think the 2070 obviously would be a better card for this, but I kind of wanted to experiment a little bit. And let's see here. We have. I mean, Ben, do you prefer cord or cordless mice for gaming? Obviously, the cord gets in the way every now and then, but I prefer the cord just for. I don't know. It just feels faster to me. It just feels more responsive. I feel confident with a cord, and you'll have to charge it, right, or have one of those Qi chargers built into the mouse pad. Let's see. Scrolling down here. Demon King Loki. $5 super chat. My dude, I appreciate that. At Science Studio, who cooks better, you or Lisa? Uh, Definitely Lisa. Yeah. I think I have a few specialty recipes up my sleeve. And it's just only because I've cooked those things like so many times. But she's definitely got more finesse. Like she can just kind of whip something up last minute and it'll still be really good. And I'm really picky, so that's saying a lot. Let's see, scrolling down here. Scrolling down. Tigran, do you think it's more reliable than your Audi? Definitely, just based on like reliability charts, Audis are typically not as reliable. My 4.2 was really strong, but the issue with the 4.2 was that the timing chains, they use timing chains on those engines, those blocks, were at the rear against the firewall. So if I ever had an issue with the timing chain tensioners, which are like little plastic sleeves that kind of like guide the timing chain where it needs to go. For some reason, the Germans use chains and they use plastic to keep metal chains in place. Those timing chain tensioners can kind of wear out, and then if one of those snaps, then the whole chain basically falls off, and then everything's screwed up because all your valves are opening at different times and all that crap. So I always feared an engine out service with that car, and that would have cost me easily 10 grand because you have to pull the engine out of the car to service the timing chain. So yeah, a little bit of car studio here. But that was my biggest concern with it, and I always kind of knew in the back of my head that was a ticking time bomb. It's not something that every S5 obviously goes through. Most of them probably won't, but the older 4.2 blocks did. Like in the A6, I believe the A6 had that issue a lot. So I was always just concerned about it. That was one of the reasons why I sold it. Now, my Q60 Red Sport has like a 100,000 mile powertrain, certified pre-owned, 10-year, 100K miles. So like basically anything mechanical that's major that happens to that car is going to be covered. And that's a good thing because that was one of the reasons why I sold the S5 to begin with. I really like the S5. Gas mileage was pretty trash. Obviously, a V8, older V8's not going to be very fuel efficient. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, yeah, like you said right there, a nightmare. It was a nightmare. On the forums, when I was reading about all the people having to do engine out services for those timing chains, it was just like, nah, it's not for me. Now, the issue with the Q60s I've come into, I've realized on the forums, is that the serpentine belt will sometimes just fray and snap. And when that happens, like that's tied, I think, to the water pump, a few other things. Your engine overheats super quick. The intercoolers in that car, it's a twin turbo V6. The intercoolers are air to water intercoolers. So it's important that those, you know, uh, that those work. It's all kind of tied up. I mean, obviously, like the newer you get with cars, like the more electronic crap there is in them, it's just harder to fix those new cars. So that's why I'm glad I have the powertrain. So we'll see. Kiefer asks how quick it goes. So for context, my S5 all-wheel drive was getting about 4.95 seconds 0 to 60, or 0 to 100 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 0 to 62 miles per hour, about 5 seconds. The Q60 Red Sport that I have now, with all the stuff I've done to it, because I have a JB4 right now, so I've remapped all the boost, and then I also have lower downpipes installed. I also have the new tires, which is like phenomenally better grip. And I also have, what was the other thing I did? I have cold air intakes, AMS cold air intakes. And the last thing I want to do is HKS blow off valves because this car just has terrible boost spikes. So eventually I will do that. I really need to do it soon, especially now that I have a JB4 in there. I'm running 4 pounds over stock, and I think the turbos run at atmosphere stock. The Red Sports do. So I think when I'm at peak boost, I'm around 18 psi. Now the boost spike when I let off throttle goes into around 20 psi, And it's I mean I've seen it charted, like I've logged the car after I've done a few, just start and stops, and you'll have the boost build up the entire way up the RPM range, and then all of a sudden you see I let off the gas, RPMs drop to zero, well not zero, but they go down quite fast, and then you'll see this little spike in the boost pressure, and that's not good. That means that boost is either going, well, first off, the the wastegate in that car is like, well, I don't even think they have a wastegate now that I think about it. In a nutshell, all that extra boost you build up in the turbo, right? So you're building it, the higher in RPM you go. That's why turbos are, better for high RPM range stuff. They're slightly less reliable than superchargers, so that's kind of a trade-off there. Superchargers have better low-end torque because they're driven by the belt of the engine. So with a turbo, right, you get more boost the higher the RPM. It kind of caps out. It really depends on the size of the turbos. My turbos are really small, but there are two of them, so it helps. They spool up pretty quick. I'd say around 4,000 RPM. I'm pretty close to peak. Well, I'm not close to peak boost, but I'm getting a lot of boost there. At around 5,500 RPM, it starts to taper off, but you can see boost pressure still will build. And then when you let off the throttle, let's say I'm doing a 0 to 100 mile per hour run, and I'm in third gear. I don't know if I can hit 100 miles per hour in third gear, probably fourth gear. Let's say I'm in third gear and I get close to the red line, and then all of a sudden I let off the throttle. If I let off the throttle, then all that boost that the turbos have been kind of spooling up, right? Basically, the turbos are taking in exhaust air. That exhaust air is being driven through the backside of the turbos, spooling the front side of the turbo, which is pulling in cold air from the front through the cold air intakes. Well, the cold air intakes are not really cold air intakes; they just call them that. They make a whoosh, whoosh sound. That's kind of it. There's really no horsepower gain there. Pulling in more air, right? Because it's forced induction. You're forcing more air into the engine, and then that forces more gas into the engine, and you have more power, right? But the problem is when you let off the throttle, all that extra boost has to go somewhere. It's not going in the engine because you just let off the throttle. So where does it go? If you have a wastegate, that's great, but a lot of this stuff gets circulated back through the turbo the wrong way, because it can't get into the block anymore because I'm not accelerating. The air goes backwards through the turbo inlet, and it's not good. You're literally counteracting the spool of the turbo, and it puts a lot of wear on it. And that's why the HKS, well, it doesn't matter what brand, but that's why blow-off valves exist. It alleviates stress on the turbo. Now, it means that you lose pressure fast, so that's kind of a trade-off there, but it's not good to have all that boost build up and then be forced backwards through the turbo. And I have two of them, remember, so it's happening on both sides. So that's really the reason why I'm I'm hoping to get that soon. They're like $600, $700. It's crazy expensive. That's why I haven't done it yet. But Anthony Williams says that's a ghost. Yeah, so it's really cool. Like you can hear it. Well, it's not cool. It's kind of freaky, but it's cool to hear it. But when I'll be in like second gear, kind of just, I don't even have to have a lot of boost built up. I could be at 3,500 RPM. I'll let off the throttle, and the car will kind of, it'll kind of stutter a little bit. And the reason why it's doing that is because, okay, well, all this boost pressure is in here and it's not going into the block anymore. So that kind of, it's not good. But I can hear every now and then when I let off the throttle, the air going back out, like through it's not all going, obviously the engine still needs air even at idle, but you can hear it kind of be forced out through the cold air intakes, and that's not good. It's kind of freaky. And the reason for that, obviously, is because the air has nowhere else to go. So, yeah, blow-off valves. That's why I need them. Wizard Core says, do you love me? Probably. I won't give you a definite answer, but probably. AT Tech News. He says, I love you. That's cool. Let's see here. Dyno, horsepower, torque. I haven't dynoed it yet. The car stock is 400 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds. I'm pretty sure I'm over 400 foot-pounds now. I mean, just with the JB4 and the lower downpipes, because what the downpipes do, it's not a full cat delete, so I still have upper cats. But the lower downpipes delete a set of cats. And what that does is eliminate the back pressure on the exhaust side of the turbo, which means the turbo can spool up faster. So you get boost at like a slightly lower RPM range. If I had full race downpipes, like it'd spool up a lot faster. But that's overkill and illegal. So illegal for street use. And while I'm not really concerned about being caught with full downpipes, it was a lot easier to install the lower downpipes. So I decided to just install the lowers, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting over 400 foot-pounds now. And that's assuming that and what Infiniti did with it kind of underrated the horsepower. I've seen a lot of guys will just take their stock Red Sports into dynos, depending on the dyno, obviously. And some of them will read higher than the stock horsepower rating. Same goes for torque. So that really just depends. Obviously, temperature, all that stuff as well. But I'm pretty sure I'm over 400 foot-pounds. I'd say I'm probably close to 425-ish. And then horsepower, I mean, the JB4 alone probably gave me another 30, 40 or so. I definitely noticed like an increase in horsepower. But it's not like, it's not the difference between like an inline four and a V12. So I'd say 30 to 40. I'm probably to the wheels right now. I'm probably right at 400 horsepower. Brake horsepower around 450-ish, and then torque again around 400 to 425 if I had to say. Anyway, just kind of eyeballing it. I'm probably just, I don't know. I think I'm in the ballpark anyway. But I'd like to take it to a dyno. That'd be really fun. I don't want to do a tune though. If you tune the car, like if you flash the ECM or override the ECM, then you lose your warranty. So I don't want to lose my warranty. The JB4 you just pop in and out. Yeah. So Wizard Core, what are your thoughts on Brexit? It's too political for me to really get into. Topic-wise on this channel, I try to keep politics out of this channel as much as possible. It's just not worth it. This is science studio. Science is supposed to be objective, as objective as possible. You can speculate, you can do all that good jazz, but opinions in science are very, I don't know. I can't even think of an instance where an opinion would be. I mean, you could probably formulate an opinion based on some result, some hierarchical data set that you pull from some experiment. But I would say under most cases, science is fairly objective, and I like to keep it that way here. If you want my political opinions, blah, 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 I have a separate channel for that, but I haven't really pumped it, and I haven't really uploaded any content lately. A lot of stuff's come up. We'll talk to you about soon, but there are reasons for that. So I will be bringing that up soon. Excuse me, Ryan Benjamin Watson, are you going to Computex this year? The answer is yes. I answered that early in the live stream. I talked a little more about it. If you want to rewind a bit later, you can. Let's see here. Glaze Storm Gaming, NZXT or Corsair? I like okay, so NZXT doesn't make RAM. I really like Corsair RAM. Corsair memory is really beautiful. Corsair power supplies are nice. It really depends on the underlying manufacturer, if it's Seasonic or FSP or any of them out there. But I like Corsair peripherals. I like the smaller components Corsair makes. When it comes to cases, I much prefer NZXT cases. Corsair just doesn't like, their cases just aren't as functional in my opinion as other brands out there. I think one of the most functional cases on the market is the Define C, the Meshify C, and then the bigger Meshify S2. I think those are extremely functional. The NZXT H500, that's what this system is right here. The system is in the H500 right now. This is a beautiful case. I mean, this was like one of the one of the best cases I've ever reviewed. I think the Define C, the Meshify C, is a very close competitor, and then also for a bit more money, the Lian Li PCLM Dynamics is a beautiful case. And then I think this was just a natural progression from the S340 and the S340 Elite. The H500 is an excellent case, and NZXT did a really good job with it, and it's a good price too. It's not going to break the bank per se, so that's nice. Greg, you under NDA for, I don't know what that is. I'm not under NDA for anything right now. If overclocking is unsafe, why do tech tubers do it? It's not really unsafe. I mean, I feel like that's just BS that people spread on forums. Like, don't overclock, you're going to kill your system way faster. Like, how many times have you had a CPU die? Like, anyone overclocking? Like, if any of you watching this live stream right now are currently running an overclock, it could be on your graphics card or your CPU. If it's a manual overclock, if you are doing that right now, running that in your system, have you ever had a chip, a CPU especially, just randomly crap out on you? Have any of your CPUs died if you've ever overclocked before? I think the failure rate for CPUs, even when overclocked within 5 years, is extremely small. I would venture to say less than, within 5 years, less than 5%, unless you're doing some stupid stuff to it, you know? CPUs just, they really don't die very often. I mean, you have performance degradation with time. That's something you could argue, but just straight up crap in their pants and stopping working, that's not really a common thing. Graphics cards maybe a little more so, because graphics cards are basically entire computers in and of themselves. So the failure rate there is probably a little higher because there are more variables in play. But just a CPU, like just the chip, how many of those die? Have you ever had a CPU just die? So it's really, I feel like saying, oh, overclocks are unsafe. Like, that's just kind of like tinfoil hat mode. Like, you can have a safe overclock with safe voltage and be fine. Like, most of you probably don't even know that Intel's highest recommended safe voltage is like 1.52 volts. I know that was that for Coffee Lake, for the original Coffee Lake 6700K. No, that was Skylake, excuse me. The 8700K. I'm pretty sure the 8700K's highest, I don't know how Intel worded it, but it was like the highest recommended voltage, something along those lines, was like 1.52 volts. Most people don't even break 1.4 when they overclock because they start getting really, frisky and concerned at 1.4. So you're fine. Like, unless your chip is running at 100 degrees Celsius and hitting T junction and thermal throttling every 5 seconds, it's probably going to last a good while. So yeah, most people, Brandon says CPU's 10 years old, still running. Old Core i5 4690K still running. Oh, he said a power supply took it with it. No, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. There's CPUs 3 years old still running. No, not even degradation. Yeah, so of course there are risks. There are risks to really anything in life, but like, you have to marginalize your risks and play the safe bet. And overclocks, for the most part, if you know what you're doing, like, you're not gonna kill your chip, significantly faster. It's just kind of it's just yeah. Anyway, I saw a comment here from Shadow Horizon. It says, I pulled an FX 6350 out of a PC in a dumpster and it still runs. I'm not sure if that's true, but I could believe that. Oh gosh. Geo Sam, what's happening with that repair shop who threatened you with a lawsuit? So um, he keeps messaging us. We haven't talked to him directly that I can recall. We may have sent, like, I think at one point he said that our video got demonetized. So we responded with a picture of our video in our YouTube window showing that it wasn't demonetized. So I'm not sure why he's spreading lies. But anyway, we're just gonna kind of let it play out. Look, if he wants to sue us, have at it. Good luck. You're gonna need luck. But we're not gonna add any more fuel to the fire at this point unless he does something really stupid. And if he does something really stupid, we'll be prepared. We are prepared. So yeah, we'll see. Bazinga says there is even a risk to getting married, and Greg still did it. That is so true. Like, that's good. Oh gosh. Whoa, let's see. Freedom Redundancy. Any recommendations on building SATA data cables? I found very little info other than how to sleeve them. You want to build SATA cables? I don't understand why you'd want to build them. Like, if you want to sleeve them, I understand that. But, like, you want to build SATA cables? It's kind of weird. I mean, I could, like, ghetto rig you a set, like, it just, like, the pins will be sticking out. It'll look really sketchy. But, like, if you want to build a set, like, that's cool. But why would you? I don't know. That's the question I have. A2 says 99.9% chance he'll do something stupid. Oh gosh, you guys are lit. Tech Crimson, I've been away from Science Studio streams and my band hammer is rusty. Steer clear of Tech Crimson. Steer clear? Did I just say that? Steer clear of Tech Crimson. Wow. Runjin I don't know, I totally butchered that. I'm sorry. He says, "How do you clean your glasses?" Just with my T-shirt. I will sometimes like run them under water, and I'll use like a soft cloth or like toilet paper or something to clean them. But when I mean, like these are like really cheap. I bought these frames with the prescription glasses for like $50. So if anything serious happens to them, like I'll just order another pair. So not a big deal. And actually, you get a discount on the second pair. So if I have to order them again, I'll probably order 2 pairs. So I have redundancy. That'd be nice. Tech Crimson says Greg is looking younger and younger every day. It must be that vacation rejuvenation. Yeah, and my skin is peeling and burning and everything else. I was wearing sunscreen and I got a little overzealous with my skin pigment, so I thought I could withstand more heat than I actually did, than I actually could. So yeah, there's that. Jeff says it's those dope glasses. Yeah, if I take these off, I look like I'm. Jesus, I look like I have something right here. I don't know what this is. I definitely probably look a little older without glasses on. I think the glasses make me look a little more nerdy, more collegey, maybe. But anyway, iKing RPG, can you overclock monitors somehow? Yeah, you can. We have a video on that. You should look it up. It's a good video to show you exactly how to do that. Greg, do you get manicures and pedicures? That's a riveting question. That is such a good question. No, I never have. It'd be nice to. I'm dead serious. It'd be really cool just to like experience it once, because I'll probably never do it again. But I'd like to. I'd like to try it out. Whoa, those glasses are 50 milks. Will is giving me crap. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to. Well, we'll have to make a video talking about that. I'm sure we'll probably do a video if Jacob comes with us to Computex. We'll have a few of those. You guys will enjoy them, I'm sure. All right. Anyway, let's see. Matthew says my boy keeps reading the comments right below or after mine. I just want to know what he has to say about the. I don't know what that is, dude. VOLKFI. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. I'm probably living under a rock, but I've never heard of it. The Red Ed, what's going on, baby? What's up? All right, we are about to end the stream. I feel bad for those who just dropped by, but we are, 10, 11, 10, 12. So anyway, I know Will is ready to go with PUBG. If you guys want to join the public Discord, it's linked down below. We share it with Techia City. Brian over at Techia City is a good fellow, and he pops in from time to time as well. We're going to play games with you guys. So if you want to play PUBG, I know PUBG's kind of old now in light of Apex, but whatever. We'll jump into it eventually, but we can do custom matches with PUBG and play, like on big teams with a bunch of people to join. So if you guys want to play, then join the public Discord. We'll be ready to rock and roll. With that, you guys have been awesome. I will catch you in the next video coming up here, I think Tuesday. Tomorrow I have a lot of stuff to do with a case review, so I'll try to get that out Tuesday for you guys. You guys have been awesome, and thanks for watching.